Gamescom 2018 started on August 21st and should be more or less finished by now. While generally not as hyped as the Electronic Entertainment Expo, this year's Gamescom saw a number of awesome reveals and announcements. Except for whatever happened to Blizzard when it threw out the schedule for its first day, but I digress. Let's take a closer look at 20 of the biggest announcements from the trade fair. PUBG 1.0 dated for Xbox One. Amid its various issues and Bluehole's desire to fix things, the developer announced that PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds would be launching version 1.0 on Xbox One on September the 4th. Not only that, but the new Sanhok map, custom games and war mode would also be included with the update. Though PUBG on the Xbox One had a shoddy start and, depending on who you ask, isn't the best Battle Royale title available, it still has a very, very healthy player base, and they've got a whole lot to look forward to. Devil May Cry 5 release date and gameplay. Along with faster movement, mid-air dodging and a whole variety of combat options, the sequel re-established the flavour that we knew and loved. Not only that, but we got a release date of March the 8th, 2019. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice out in March 2019. Perhaps the second most hyped game at the trade fair, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, was also playable. Activision took to announcing a release date of March the 22nd, 2019, and a collector's edition, complete with the statue of the protagonist. However, it was the gameplay that honestly excited us. Sekiro doesn't have a stamina meter, it boasts impressive movement thanks to a grappling hook, and channels a contemporary Tenchu more than you'd think. Despite this, combat is intense, relying on threshold meters that increase with damage taken, leading up to execution-style attacks. It's bloody, grim, and has that From Software vibe to it. Suffice to say, that's good news. The Surge's 2 first look at combat. If you happened upon that leaked gameplay clip for The Surge 2 a while ago, then nothing in the current trailer really surprised you. For everyone else, it was the first look at a game that's still relatively Souls-like. The previous game's special limb targeting system is looking good, the movement seems more fluid, and overall the world feels more realised. That may not seem like a big deal, but those cloaked hunters and transforming statues gave us hope for what's to come. Ori and the Will of the Wisps Spirit Trials. Did Microsoft announce a release date for Ori and the Will of the Wisps? No. It did the next best thing though with the reveal of Spirit Trials. This is essentially time trials as players attempt to beat their friends' best times. Competing against them will be ghosts of said friends, amping up the competitiveness even more. Perform well enough and you'll unlock some rewards. This already sounds like an awesome way to cater to the speedrunning and hardcore fanbase, having them come back for more after the main story is finished. Now let's hope a release date shows up sooner rather than later. Halo the Master Chief Collection coming to Xbox Game Pass. It's hard to forget just how much of a disaster Halo the Master Chief Collection was at launch. However, 343 Industries has been working to improve it, and all that effort comes to fruition when the game launches for Xbox Game Pass on September the 1st. Along with Xbox One X support, including 4K and HDR, it will bring a large patch that improves matchmaking times, lets players pick and choose which games they want, or whether to forego multiplayer entirely for the single-player experience. Desperados III announced by THQ Nordic. This has been a long time coming, especially following the lackluster Desperados II Cooper's Revenge. THQ Nordic unveiled Desperados III and pretty much confirmed that it would be the same isometric real-time tactics Wild West title that the very first game did so well. Nothing else was revealed beyond that, but it's out in 2019, so there's still time to learn more. Supermassive announces the Dark Pictures anthology. In an interesting twist, Bandai Namco, who's been on fire with the partnerships this year, will be working to bring Supermassive's next horror anthology to all platforms. The first title in the Dark Pictures anthology is Man of Medan, a story about tourists who mess with some underwater relics and have to deal with a haunted ship. The textures and animation are pretty great, and it'll be out in 2019. Overwatch's Shooting Star and new control map. A new animated short is always a special occasion for Blizzard's Overwatch. While Shooting Star didn't do much to advance the main plot, it did give some backstory into Hana Diva's song. The production quality and presentation were stellar as always, but it perhaps pales in comparison to Busan, the new control map. Available now on PTR, it offers new environmental hazards and interesting geometry, while still maintaining the control essentials. Expect to see it sometime in the coming month or two on live servers. Life is Strange 2 first gameplay. Life is Strange 2 finally revealed its premise and gameplay aspects, telling the story of Sean and Daniel Diaz, who are on the run after an incident. Magic powers are once again at play, but thanks to the age difference of the brothers, the decisions of Sean will have an influence on Daniel. Episode 1 arrives on September 27th for Xbox One, PS4 and PC, but early gameplay shows that the Life is Strange aesthetic is more or less intact. Let's hope the storytelling is up to par as well, or ideally better. Cyberpunk 2077 screenshots tease FPS gameplay. CD Projekt Red sadly didn't showcase its behind closed doors E3 2018 demo. However, it did release some screenshots that gave us a better idea of what the first-person perspective would look like. Furthermore, it announced that a major development milestone was reached, with the game being playable from start to finish. Bug testing and other optimizations still remain to be done, but we could be seeing the game sooner than expected. Dark Souls Trilogy announced for the US. Remember that Dark Souls collection that was only released for Japan on PS4 earlier this year? Bandai Namco announced that both Xbox One and PS4 players in the United States and Asia could pick up the Dark Souls Trilogy on October 19th. Sorry, Europe. So you get Dark Souls Remastered, Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin, and Dark Souls 3 The Fire Fate Edition, all for $80. On the one hand, it's kinda lame for those who recently bought Dark Souls Remastered, but on the other hand, if you never played Dark Souls, this is the best way to get into it, with all the DLC included. Metro Exodus continues looking gorgeous in new trailer. What's more terrifying than a post-apocalyptic, bombed-out Moscow crawling with monsters, heading out into the great unknown? Because for all the beautiful sights out there in Metro Exodus, from lush green valleys to calm wildlife, there are some nasty things lurking in the dark. Other human factions that nail bodies to walls for fun. Wolves, giant bears, you name it and it's probably trying to kill you. Still, Metro Exodus looks great, and we're looking forward to its upcoming February 2019 release all the more. Battlefield 5 open beta dates announced. For all the criticism that Battlefield 5 has received over its customization and depiction of World War II, it does look insanely good. DICE teamed up with Nvidia to showcase the first-person shooter on the upcoming GeForce RTX, which was quite the visual feast. However, it also unveiled the open beta for September, bringing the new Rotterdam map to Conquest. It's available for Origin Access Basic and Premier, and EA Access subscribers on September 4th, but everyone else can jump in on September the 6th. This War of Mine, Windjammers 2 and more heading to Switch. Nintendo isn't running out of indies for its Switch platform anytime soon. At the start of Gamescom, it unveiled numerous titles like 11-bit Studios' Children of Morta, This War of Mine and Beat Cop for the platform. Moonlighter also received a more solid release window, which was great, but that wasn't even all. Slay the Spire, Nightcall, Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom, Everspace, The Gardens Between, Bad North, and so much more looked great. Oh, and did we mention Windjammers 2? Because Windjammers 2 is finally happening. Sure, many of these are already available or coming to other platforms, but having them on the go is just fantastic. Soul Calibur 6's Libra of Soul and Tira revealed. Not content with a traditional single-player campaign, Project Soul announced another story mode for Soul Calibur 6. Libra of Soul does have its differences though, as players will create a custom fighter and engage with other player-created fighters and main roster heroes. Each of these encounters will have different rule sets to mix up the battles further. The customization system harkens back to Tekken 7 in many ways, so hopefully the voice acting for Libra of Soul is on point. Oh, and Tira is back, but as a DLC character, so that's a thing to either get excited or upset about. Shenmue III releasing on August 2019. EastNet's Shenmue III will be releasing on August 27, 2019. Now, all jokes aside about another possible delay, the sequel's actually looking pretty good. Animation is mostly on point, textures look nice and sharp, and even the story's well presented. I mean, who didn't mark out when Lan Di was shown after so long? Honestly, the biggest compliment I can give the latest trailer is that it evokes the same feelings that the original Sheen's reveal did in the Dreamcast era. Take that for what you will. TH Nordic bringing Microsoft titles to Steam. Xbox One and Windows 10 titles that have been relegated to the Microsoft Store are finally coming to Steam and physical retail. THQ Nordic announced a deal with Microsoft for the same, and will release games like Recore, Super Lucky's Tale and Zoo Tycoon Ultimate Animal Collection. All these titles will arrive on September the 14th. It may not seem like that big of a deal compared to other announcements, but could lead to other Windows 10 exclusives arriving on Steam. No, not Gears 5 or Halo Infinite, but some other stuff, probably. Ace Combat 7 arrives in January 2019. Bandai Namco had announced that Ace Combat 7 Skies Unknown will be releasing on January 18, 2019 for the Xbox One and PS4. Even better, PC players can get their hands on it in February 2019. The newly unveiled trailer was full of intrigue, political dealings, high-flying action, and more political dealings. Regardless, the game looks gorgeous and a worthy follow-up, even if some of the English voice acting is different, to say the least. New Settlers game announced. Champions of Antaria, get out of here with that nonsense, because the Settlers are back. Not only is Ubisoft re-releasing all of its old Settlers titles on November the 15th, but it has a new game in development. Releasing in autumn 2019 and simply named The Settlers, the game runs on massive Snowdrop engine and heads to a new world. Will it live up to the old games? Maybe not, but hey, maybe it will. There's always hope, right?
And that wraps it up. If you like what we're doing, please consider subscribing to our channel. We upload new videos daily, so make sure you don't miss them by subscribing. We appreciate your support, and we thank you for checking us out.